Power surge on Sunday afternoon, cracking his 11th home run of the season in the 8th inning, and his 12th a walk-off in the 10th. The first-place Dodgers are a season-high 15 games over 500, riding a 4-game winning streak and 3 games in front of the Giants. That's the scene set in Philadelphia, which historically hasn't always been a pleasant place to play. Tonight, the Phillies' all-time hit champion, Jimmy Rollins, makes his first return to Citizens Bank Park. The prodigal son returns as the Dodgers begin a 3-game series and a 6-game road trip next. It's a beautiful night for baseball, and live from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies in the first of a 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Nomar Garcia-Parra. These being the dog days of August, the Bulldog has this week off. Now to the Dodgers, and really the story tonight is Jimmy Rollins making his first return back to Philadelphia, the all-time hit leader in Philly history. You returned to Boston 5 years after you left. What do you imagine he is going through less than a year after leaving here?
There's a lot of emotion definitely going through his body. It is totally different playing the team back over there at Dodger Stadium as compared to coming to the ballpark that you are so familiar with, the ballpark that you played so many years in wearing that uniform. And he may have gotten off to a slow start this year offensively, but as of late, he's really been swinging a hot bat. Over his last 10 games, he's batted .333. Over his last 4 games in the leadoff spot, he's batted .333. Versus the Phillies earlier in the series, he batted .333, and defense has been consistent all year long. He's definitely going to have to deal with a lot of motion, but we're going to need his consistency today.
24-year-old Alex Wood will be making his Dodger debut tonight against the veteran right-hander Jerome Williams. Back with the lineups and first pitch from Philadelphia right after this. so mightily prior to the break, 29-62, 12-3 coming out of the break. This is the first of a 3-game series, and our closed captioning is brought to you by First 5 California. Talk, read, sing. It changes everything. Well, here's Jimmy Rollins. He has come back home. There's a big crowd on hand. This is, of course, the only team and town he had ever played for until coming to the Dodgers this year. So the Dodgers begin this 6-game road trip, 3 here in Philadelphia, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Pittsburgh before returning home. This has been a big day and a big story for Jimmy Rollins, and we were talking about it a couple of minutes ago. Nomar, when you went back to Fenway for the first time 5 years after you had left, the night before, what are you thinking? How is the crowd going to react to you? What were the emotions?
Because you don't know what the reaction is going to be, so you're thinking about it. You're going, am I going to get boos? Am I going to get cheered? You don't really know what to expect, but definitely when you show up, batting practice, talking to fans, you start feeling the emotion.
The public address announcer here in Philadelphia for years has been Dan Baker, and he will do something he had done for more than a dozen years. Introduce Jimmy Rollins.
Leading off for the Los Angeles Dodgers, number 11, shortstop, Jimmy Rollins.
Well, over a half a minute of standing ovation for Jimmy Rollins. We're ready to play, and the first pitch is a call strike on this Tuesday night. Jimmy on the year, 216, 11 home runs and 33 runs batted in. In his last 10 games for the Dodgers, he's 12 for his last 36, 3 home runs, 4 runs batted in, and a .385 on base percentage. Kendrick and Gonzalez to follow, and Rollins with a line drive just foul, narrowly missing a double.
Those are the ones you just want to get out of the way. It's like, all right, fall in for me. Get an ovation like that, a great ovation. You tip your hat to everybody, all the fans. You appreciate it, and then you're going, okay, now I got to hit after that, and hoping it would fall in.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Rollins. First of a 3-game series. Jerome Williams making his 17th start of the year for the Phillies. Missing way outside. And it's 2-2. Williams 3 up and 8 down, and 636 earned run average. Hasn't won a game since the middle of May. And Rollins is down on strikes. Not exactly the way Rollins had it scripted. Here's the Honda starting lineup. After Rollins, Kendrick and Gonzalez, Ethier, Grandal, and Puig, Jock Peterson, Alex Guerrero, and Brett Anderson. Not Brett Anderson, I beg your pardon. Alex Wood is pitching and batting ninth. Anderson goes tomorrow. And there's a strike, 0-1.
Well, for Jimmy Rollins, you're going, okay, just get the first one out of the way. Now that the ovation, now it's back to just getting focused, back to baseball. And even after you strike out, you're going, okay, let's see the rest of the team pick me up right here. Let's see if they can get one on the board. Be nice for the Dodgers to see if they can get an early run, especially to help Alex Wood out in his Dodger debut.
Kendrick down on strikes. Well, Jerome Williams strikes out the first 2 Dodger hitters of the evening. So here's the veteran right-hander. Williams is 33, 81 innings, and 57 earned runs.
He predominantly throws a fastball, and he throws a cutter along with that. Almost just over 70% is either a fastball or cutter. He throws an occasional change and curveball. And early on, we've seen that curveball changeup be effective.
So quickly, 2 out, nobody on. 46 strikeouts in 81 innings. And what does he do? He strikes out the first 2 Dodger hitters. It's all anybody was talking about around the ballpark today, the return of Jimmy Rollins. Big stories in the newspapers. What a beloved figure he was here in Philadelphia. And that ain't easy. Where Santa Claus was notoriously wooed.
Yeah. Santa Claus didn't get that ovation that Jimmy got. No. Right, wasn't quite the same.
Not even on Christmas Day. On 2-1.
So despite everything, Jimmy's the all-time hit leader here in Philly. He has so many records here that he's broken. And now he can say, well, I got a better ovation than Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas. Gonzalez takes a walk. First base runner of the night for the Dodgers. Andre Ethier. Well, Ethier with the home run in the 8th, the walk-off home run on Sunday afternoon to give the Dodgers their 5-3 win over the Angels. Now up to 12 home runs. And there's a strike.
Well, Andre did it right, not just hitting the home run and tying it and then hitting the home run to go ahead and win the game. But he did it right before an off day, so he had like another extra day to just enjoy it.
He could straighten up and fly right. 0-1, 0-2. Jerome Williams came up with the Giants in 2003, then on to the Cubs and the Nationals, the Angels, the Astros, Rangers, and now the Phillies. From Hawaii. And into right center field. That's Jeff Francoeur. And that's the end of the first inning. No runs, no hits, a walk and a man left. Alex Wood about to make his first start with the Dodgers when we come back. Disneyland. Get ready to be dazzled during the Disneyland Resort Diamond Celebration. Happening now with spectacular new entertainment and more. And by the Acura It's That Kind of Summer event. That's Pete Mackanin. He is the interim manager of the Phillies. And he took over for Ryan Sandberg, and things have turned around of late. And They've won 12 of their last 15. The Honda lineup begins with Cesar Hernandez. He's now the second baseman in town. Herrera's in center field to be followed by Franco and Francoeur. Howard's hitting pretty well lately. Darren Ruff in left. Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Carlos Chooch Ruiz. And it's Jerome Williams. And on the first pitch, here in the bottom half of the first, Hernandez is on his way to second base with a stand-up double. Well, that's a rude introduction for Alex Wood.
Hernandez didn't even allow Wood to just get his feet wet just a little bit. He was just going, I'm not going to waste any time. You think you're going to get a fastball right by me to get an easy strike, takes advantage of it. Now for Wood, we talk about the emotion that Jimmy Rollins is dealing with. Alex Wood is coming in a new uniform. He's dealing with emotions as well. So he's got to just battle through those. Try to get out of this inning.
Well, here is Herrera, who has taken over in center field. This is a whole new team, this Philly club. And Wood, after one pitch, is in a world of trouble as Herrera fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Ben Revere is gone. Of course, Jimmy Rollins is over here. Utley may soon be gone. He's had ankle issues, and certainly his name is being mentioned an awful lot. Papelbon is gone. So there are only two Phillies that remain from their World Series years. Ryan Howard and Carlos Ruiz. Big swing and a miss, 0-2.
There was always that big talk. They got rid of Cole Hamels as well, and it's no secret that the Phillies are now rebuilding and making some major changes.
Starting all over again, but what a run they had. High and away. There's Ryan Howard. Jimmy Rollins, when, of course, the all-time hit leader. Most games played at Citizens Bank. When Rollins was here, the Phillies won 5 consecutive National League Eastern Division titles. 2007 through 2011. And the 1-2. So they're starting all over again.
Yeah, I remember talking to Jimmy early in the year. We sat down with him, and I was talking about all those years over there in Philly. And he was talking about how he was just proud to be a part of that winning, trying to create a new atmosphere of winning. And he was great. He didn't say I brought that here. I was glad I was a part of it. There were so many of them that were integral parts for those winning seasons.
Herrera on 1-2. Gets the job done, bounces to second. Hernandez goes to third. Defensively behind Alex Wood tonight, Alex Guerrero at third base. Rollins at short, Kendrick at second, and Adrian Gonzalez at first base. And in the outfield, Ethier in left, Peterson in center, Puig in right. Yasmani Grandal is behind the plate. By the way, A.J. Ellis has come off the disabled list, so he will serve as Grandal's understudy. Austin Barnes was sent out to make some room. Maikel Franco out of the Dominican, 283 with 11 home runs and 40 runs batted in. You talk to the Philly folks, they think he is one of those kids around which this franchise can be rebuilt.
Early on in his career, he's definitely made a splash, and like any young player, we've seen it even with the Dodger young ones. You can start off really hot, then you kind of come down to earth, you make the adjustments. But even as this season has gone on, deep into the season, he's shown he's making adjustments, and they really like the talent in Franco.
So he's cooled off a bit, but still a solid 283. And into the Dodger dugout. So this Philly team that's won 12 of its last 15, they've been hitting. They've had at least 10 hits in 4 consecutive games. And at least 10 in 8 of their last 10 games. Wood with a big strikeout. His first of the game, 2 out.
Well, he just freezes Franco on this pitch. Looked like Franco was guessing something else there, and gets the top of the strike zone and gets the strikeout. We talk about Wood and that deception and that delivery that he has. It would really be huge for him to be able to try to get out of this inning, especially out of that leadoff double, and put up a 0.
First pitch, a double. Hernandez at third with 2 out. As Francoeur takes low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Wood and Francoeur, both, of course, members of the Braves Alumni Association. That's Hernandez leading off third. Up the middle, off the glove. Now here comes Rollins, getting Francoeur by a step, saving a run. And Jimmy Rollins has returned home with a splendid defensive play to end the bottom half of the first inning. If he can't make that play, the Phillies have themselves a lead. Instead, we're scoreless after 1. And I suspect tonight, Jimmy Rollins, this is one of those nights for him, as he was looking up on the scoreboard with the dedication to him between innings. And, of course, the long and loud and lusty ovation for him when he was first introduced to begin the game. Scoreless as we go to the second. Yasmani Grandal takes a strike. It's 0-1. Talk about the return of the prodigal son. Puig on deck and Peterson to follow. And Grandal takes the ball.
Just looking at that tribute, and you saw Jimmy looking up, but also the teammates enjoy it as well. They all stop and watch, and the teammates, fun to be a part of that as well.
Well, Jimmy's a class act. Always has been. Enormously popular in a town where it's not that easy to be that popular for that long. As Grandal fouls it off to the left. Meanwhile, Yasmani Grandal at .292 and on base percentage of .400. 15 home runs, 41 runs batted in. What is he doing now that he wasn't doing
early? Really early. I was just thinking about early on. You know, early on, he looked like he was so indecisive at the plate. He's now being aggressive. In that first month, he looked like he didn't know whatever the count was, whatever the situation the game was telling him, he didn't know whether he was going to swing or not, like he was caught in between thoughts. Now, all of a sudden, he even told himself, he mentioned, he goes, I just decided to be aggressive, and especially when it was in hitters' counts, I was going to be even more aggressive, and that has not changed since early on in the season.
On 3-2. We'll do it again. So on the year, Grandal 292 is a left-handed hitter, 278. All of his home runs have come from the left side, but he's hitting 378 as a right-handed hitter. Again, the 3-2 from Jerome Williams. Right at Ryan Howard. Howard's turned it around the second half of the season as the sun is setting here in Philadelphia. 90 degrees and humid at game time. And Puig steps in. Puig against the Phillies, as you see, has had a good time of it. 26 for 75. That's the third highest batting average against the Phillies by a Dodger since they moved to Los Angeles. Side and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Seven home runs, 26 runs batted in. Now 2-0. Puig with hits in 4 of his 6 games played here. First of a 3-game series. There's a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 2-1. Peterson is on deck. Three and one. As a hitter, what are you looking for against Jerome Williams?
He's very effective when the ball stays down in the zone. His off speeds, we just saw that off speed pitch, how it keeps going down. His cutter and his fastball too. When they're down, they have more movement.
Franco with a terrific play.
So for me, Charlie, with Jerome, since he doesn't have an overpowering fastball, I'm going to look up in the zone. As we have a look, we were talking about him before and how much these Philly fans love Franco over there, making a play ranging to his left. As we have a look on Carl's cam replay.
So now with 2 out and nobody on, Jock Peterson coming up. Peterson at 223 with 21 home runs and 43 runs batted in. And the issue continues to be the strikeouts. 128, most in the league. He takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Jock hitless in his last 17 at bats. Not a full shift on for Peterson, although the shortstop Galvis swung way over. Foul ball. When you're a young fellow like Peterson, with all the attention that has been paid to him last year before coming up this year, and now in a slump, and now the strikeouts, how do you stop that negative momentum inside your head?
The biggest key is, and I always say this for young guys when they get called up and not get called up too soon, we say that is just being aware of yourself and understanding what adjustments you do when you're struggling, and you also have to recognize what you do when things are going right and then try to find that again. So you can minimize those slumps, because slumps are inevitable in the major leagues. And we always hear about making adjustments. Well, that's true. It's not making changes. Well, right now, Jock made a change last offseason because he recognized it from that month up last year. He might be looking to make another change this one.
3 balls and a strike. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief, the third base umpire. Two out, top half of the second inning just underway. And Williams' 34th pitch. Peterson takes a walk. That's the second walk given up by Williams. For Jock Peterson, that was the 60th time he has walked, so his on-base percentage is still very solid, .345. Alex Guerrero coming up now. And with Justin Turner still on the disabled list, with that infection on his leg, Guerrero and Callaspo are getting all the work at third. Down and away, a swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Alex Wood is on deck. Wood's a 152 hitter, by the way. You're seeing him as a batter for the first time in a Dodger uniform.
With him on deck, we talk about that 8th hole. There's a lot going on. Even though you're batting in front of that pitcher, you're hoping, okay, with 2 outs, trying to get on base just to try to get the lineup turned over.
Here's a strike. Guerrero's got 11 home runs, and Williams has given up 17.
Bet you Guerrero was a little frustrated right there. He swings at the one that breaks off in the dirt, and then he takes the one over the middle of the plate.
Fastball upstairs. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alex Guerrero. So while the Phillies are 15 games behind the modern day Miracle Mets, they have won 12 of their last 15, and Guerrero's down on strikes. No runs, no hits, a walk, get a man left. The Phillies will have Howard, Ruff, and Galvis coming up in the bottom of the second against Alex Wood. Jimmy Rollins, who broke in with the Phillies in 2000. This is the first time he has come to Philadelphia wearing a uniform other than the Phillies. Richie Ashburn, 3rd all-time in hits. Michael Jack Schmidt. And Jimmy Rollins with 2,306. Well, he made a terrific defensive play to end the bottom half of the first inning that saved a run. Rollins, after getting about a half a minute standing ovation when he was introduced to begin the game, narrowly missed a double and ended up striking out swinging. So we're scoreless going to the bottom of the second, and here is Ryan Howard. Boy, Jimmy's having the time of his life, isn't it?
Yeah.
How nervous were you when you first went back?
Oh.
Butterflies?
Yes, because you don't know what type of ovation to expect. That's Charlie, how nervous, and where it really caught me, batting practice. When I went to batting practice, fans were gathered around. Hey, Nomar, miss you, sign autographs. I missed the first 2 pitches, swung and missed the first 2 pitches of batting practice. I was like, what is going on here? I was like, am I going to strike out in batting practice first time ever? Oh, boy, I'm glad I rolled over that 3rd pitch just to get it going.
Made some contact. Here's Ryan Howard, 241, 18 home runs, 60 runs batted in. Takes inside. So the Dodgers have the big shift on for him, so Howie Kendrick is in short right field. Ethier, that's Peterson at the top of your screen, and Puig is in right. There's a strike. The issue for Howard, hitting against left-handers this year, 156. And down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Wood. It's the first out of the second inning. And be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance Monday, August the 10th, when the Dodgers play the Washington Nationals and pick up your Fernando Valenzuela pin. That's the 5th in the Cy Young Pin Collectors Series, presented by 76. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Darren Ruff coming up. He takes a strike. Ruff with 4 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Of course, pitching with the Atlanta Braves. There's been a lot of confrontations between Philly hitters and Alex Wood. That's the second hit of the game off Wood, a 1-out single to center.
Ruff does a good job on this ball because this ball ended up tailing away on the outer half and he stays on it. Not an easy pitch. It started off in the corner and it was almost falling off of the plate down in the corner. Sometimes you have to tip your hat because that was a decent pitch by Wood. It's a better piece of hitting by Ruff.
Freddie Galvis stepping into the batter's box, and he has enjoyed his meetings with Wood. He's 6 for 10. His front foot's practically out of the batter's box. Galvis is solid 277, 5 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Starts out wide open and closes up his stance in a hurry. Ruff has not stolen a base this year. And Grandal throws out roughly 25% of would-be base stealers. Way outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Grandal has thrown out 14 of 59. Short lead for Ruff. Wood on the first pitch of the game gave up a double to Cesar Hernandez, but would get out of the inning. Double to center, he'd go to third. Franco would strike out, and Francoeur bounced out. A terrific play by Jimmy Rollins on a slow roller, throwing out Francoeur and saving a run. Two balls and a strike. 0-2.
Alex Wood actually got a first strike with a curveball on the outer half, backdoored the breaking ball, and he tried it again on the pitch before that. This curveball has really been a good strikeout pitch for him this year. Good spot for his fastball to come in on the hands of Freddie Galvis.
Well, on Sunday afternoon, Matt Latos made his Dodger debut. It was a successful one. 1 run, 4 hits in 6 innings. And here is Wood in his Dodger debut. Into right for a base hit. So the Phillies have something going. 1st and 2nd and 1 out. So Galvis is now 7 for 11 against Alex Wood.
Well, he comes back with the changeup. After coming in on the hands with that fastball, he definitely had him set up for a good changeup, but on the outer half, that one catches too much of the plate. It was definitely down and out of the zone. Galvis still able to make contact and get a base hit out of it. The fact that it crept over the middle of the plate gave Galvis a chance.
Now here's Chooch. Carlos Ruiz. He has really feasted on left-handed pitching. This year he's 12 for 31 against lefties. That's .387. Wood missing outside.
With Galvis has some speed over there at first, so when he was up, you're thinking, all right, ground ball, possible double play, but difficult because of his speed. But not so much for the guy at the plate. Good double play candidate.
1 ball, no strike. Ruiz has bounced into 11 double plays this year. A ball, a strike, and an out. Scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd. Wood missing outside. Wood's given up 3 hits to this point. Ruff at 2nd, Galvis at 1st. 1 out. Counts 2-2.
Ruiz just missed that. And right now, just early on in Alex Wood, he's made some quality pitches, but the mistakes he's made, the ball has found over the middle of the plate. They've been creeping over too much of the center of the plate. And he's staying on the corners. He's been very effective.
Ruiz made his debut with the Phillies in 2006. 1,001 big league games, all with the Phillies. Count holds at 2-2. Jerome Williams, the pitcher, on deck. At the trade deadline, Ruiz his name was mentioned a lot. Of course, all the veterans on the Phillies.
I go, wasn't every name pretty much up there on the board said available?
2-2, the 31st pitch from Wood. Grounded to 3rd. Guerrero, Kendrick on to 1st, and a double play. The 12th double play that Ruiz has bounced into this year. When we come back in the top half of the 3rd, it'll be Wood, Jimmy Rollins, and Howie Kendrick. Scoreless. says you can't go home again? Jimmy Rollins, big scoreboard tribute, long, loud ovation when he was introduced for his first at-bat. And he's having the time of his life here at Citizens Bank Park. He'll be batting second here in the third. It'll be Alex Wood, Rollins, and Howie Kendrick. Dodgers still looking for their first base hit. Wood is 5 for 33. He's got a double and 4 runs batted in. While Jerome Williams to this point, two walks, 3 strikeouts, and is 1-1. Giants have a 1-0 lead in Atlanta. They're playing in the third. As the Dodgers were flying into Philadelphia last night, Atlanta broke the Giants' hearts in extra innings with a walk-off home run. So the Dodger lead over the Giants is 3. San Diego and Arizona 8.5 back. Colorado 15.5.
It really didn't break the Dodger hearts one bit.
No. It just landed a little more easily. 2-2 to Wood. Now 3-2. So meanwhile, Williams' pitch count is up to 44 already, and he still hasn't given up a hit until now. First hit of the game for the Dodgers, Alex Wood, taking care of his own business.
Your new teammates appreciate that.
It really is remarkable the affection with which Rollins has returned home. Rollins a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. The all-time Phillies hit leader, 2,306. And it's past Ryan Howard, headed toward the right field corner, off the sidewall and into the glove of a fan. So it's a grounds rule double, and the Dodgers have runners at second and third and nobody out.
I see that ball hit down the line, and I was just watching Alex Wood run the bases. He's really not fleet of foot out there. And as we see Jimmy Rollins, we talked about the first at bat, the emotion. It's like, okay, got that out of the way. Now he almost had a double down the line in his first at bat. But I'll tell you that fan getting that hit by Howard also helps just Alex Wood, where he's just he's looking over, peeking. See how he's just slowing down there. Wait a minute, you got to get over the third. He's like, oh wait, after you get the ball, what are you throwing it back over there for? What? Keep it.
He must have been overcome by guilt.
I mean, what? What? Why do you throw it back? Or at least give it to the kid next to you. Like, you know what? That'll solve everything. No one's going to take it away from the kid.
What have I? The look on his face. What have I done? What have I just done? And my lower lip really hurts with my teeth on it.
Kid goes, I'm not even going to look at you right now. I refuse to look at you. You had a ball here.
Here's Kendrick with second and third. 1 ball, no strikes.
And it was hit by Jimmy Rollins.
Ooh, that's a bad night at the office. Hey, we got front row seats. Good. Bring your gloves.
Yes, great.
Maybe I'll get a souvenir. Yeah. And it'll be Jimmy. Oh, what have I done?
Boy. See, yeah, you're talking about you can't can't affect the play on the field. You can't be doing that. I think he should escort him out. We're going to escort out, not because you touched it, because you threw it back.
Kendrick, been among the league leaders with runners in scoring position all year. Swings and misses. And is 1 ball and 1 strike. What are you, nuts? Oh, Dad.
What do you think the right fielder was going to play it now? Oh, it's back in.
Kendrick foul tips it. It's 1-2. You wouldn't believe what happened last night. So I go to the Philly game, and I got a glove, and I caught a base hit. What do you mean a base hit? A base hit from Jimmy Rollins. Yeah, where's the ball? I threw it away. 1-2. Kendrick, chopper to third. Wood is lucky to get back. Well, Kendrick unable to advance the runners. There's the first out of the third inning.
Yeah, he almost gets Wood. Wood's like, wait, I better hurry up and get back there. It was a good job by Franco, recognizing that he might have had a chance over here at Wood, and then gathering himself to make a good play, good throw to first base.
Now Adrian Gonzalez, who walked in his first at-bat. Adrian with 21 home runs and 61 runs batted in.
Adrian Gonzalez recognizes the situation so well. He knows there's a base open. He knows it's not that there's a possibility of him getting pitched around. But he's going, okay, if they make a mistake, I'm going to look to see if they make a mistake. He knows they're probably going to want to go away. You saw them set up away. He wants to roll over.
I'm thinking 2.
That was just a good off speed there. You see the breaking ball. We were talking about Jerome. The breaking ball has been effective early in this game.
That had a bit of bite to it.
Yep.
Gonzalez 304 with runners in scoring position, second and third, and 1 out. One ball, 2 strikes. The inning began with a single to left for Alex Wood. Rollins would double, be a ground rule double, as a fan leaned over and interfered with play. Kendrick would bounce out. There's still second and third and 1 gone. And the 1-2. Fly ball to right field. And that one is well foul, but well hit.
If he throws that one back, maybe he should throw it down to the guy who threw it back. Here, you want a ball?
One ball, 2 strikes. And Gonzalez down on strikes. Jerome Williams with his 4th strikeout. Second and third, and now 2 out.
You can see Adrian on that swing, where he was thinking when that ball just went down in there, he was already swinging, and he recognized, uh-oh, this ball is going down and I'm not missing it. So you kind of see him try to kind of hold up. It wasn't just a full effort swing, and disappointed in himself.
Andre Ethier stepping in. He's 2 for 6 in his brief meetings with Jerome Williams. Fly to right in his first at bat. He takes a strike, 0-1.
The Dodgers had the guys they wanted up at the plate with a guy at third base and less than 2 outs with Howie Kendrick and Adrian Gonzalez. Those 2 guys unable to do it. And we always talk about, Charlie, 2-out RBIs. Well, here's a big opportunity to come through to pick those guys up.
It picks up the team that gets it, and it deflates the team that gives them us.
Truly does. And right now, the Phillies will feel momentum kind of shifting their way if they're able to get out of it.
Again, the Phillies have won 12 of their last 15. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. 1-1 to Ethier. 2 balls and a strike. About 6 weeks ago, Ryan Sandberg upped and quit. He couldn't take it anymore. Pete McCannon took over. They're 15-17 under McCannon. but 12-3 since the break. Here's a 2-1. Ground ball right at Ryan Howard. And the Dodgers had second and third and nobody out. Come up empty. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Scoreless from Philadelphia.
Of course, the Dodgers and Phillies scoreless in the third. Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Tennant. The Dodgers are embarking on a quick East Coast swing with 6 games in 2 cities as we take a look at our 76th calendar over the next week. 3 games in the city of brotherly love, and then a quick flight to Pittsburgh after the game on Thursday afternoon for a weekend series against the Pirates, and then a long late-night cross-country flight on Sunday will bring the team back to LA in the wee hours of Monday morning, Charlie.
Yes, they will be. They'll be really wee hours. The good news is you're a big crowd attraction. They want you on Sunday Night Baseball. The bad news is it messes up your life for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those, as players, you're always going, really, why are we that night game? Why would they do it? And it's one thing to go, okay, you understand, but why do they pick the one where I have to go all the way across country?
And then play the next day.
Yes. Like, can't you do it when we're playing maybe Arizona and we got to, fly back home on a Sunday? That's different. All right.
According to the itinerary, the Dodgers will land, I guess, about 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning.
We know those itineraries are off always a little bit.
3 o'clock-ish. Jerome Williams takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. So tomorrow, when the Dodgers and Phillies have at it, Brett Anderson and Aaron Harang. Thursday is a matinee. Zach Greinke and David Buchanan. Kershaw will pitch Friday in Pittsburgh. There's Brett Anderson. And there's Kershaw. And A.J. Ellis, fresh off the disabled list. Williams fouls it off to the right. Williams is 2 for 23 this year. A single and a double. So the Dodgers are all at a no mark. Oral, as we mentioned, these are the dog days of the summer, so the Bulldogs actually given a week off. Had that glorious opportunity, second and third, nobody out against a Philly team that's now, here it is, it's a couple of days, 4 days into August, is playing for quote-unquote pride. Had a glorious opportunity to...
There are times where coaches and his organization are putting a star, even myself in my book, star, were opportunities that you have, and that last inning was definitely an opportunity to give the Dodgers a lead, and they were unable to come through.
Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SNLA DataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself at an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Cesar Hernandez. He's come up And Ruben Amaro basically said when Utley went on the disabled list, he is now our second baseman. And he has lived up to advanced billing. He's 2 for 2. Doubled in his first at bat and singles with 1 out here in the 3rd.
One thing coming from Alex Wood, I talked about the deception in his delivery, but Cesar Hernandez is locked in on Alex Wood, sees the pitches really well. He swung early in the count in his first at bat on the very first fastball and drove that to center field. Then he gets a breaking ball, stays back, and then drives that one to left.
Odubel Herrera steps in. He bounced to second in his first at bat. He's taken over in center field. Ben Revere has moved north. Maikel Franco is on deck. Scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd. 3 strikeouts for Wood to this point. Next pitch will be his 40th.
It's like see that stance by Herrera? You see that front ankle? It almost looks like it's like almost double jointed to some degree as he gets this stance. Usually you see guys in that front foot, they're on their toe a little bit, but he's like on the inner part of his entire foot, inside of it.
Plate umpire Brian O'Nora looking in toward the Dodger dugout.
I think they were trying to see if they possibly had a pickoff over there at first. Watch Herrera here. Watch that front foot of Herrera. All right, back foot's fine, but look at the way that ankle almost looks like that inner part of that ankle almost touches the ground.
But not for long, as it turns out.
But
so coming to Philadelphia all these years, you know, you knew who the players were. You knew these guys. You knew that Utley was at second, Mullins at 3rd, Howard at 1st. That's drilled to right, and that's a fair ball by less than a foot. Hernandez rounding 3rd, and he is on his way home, and he slides in safely. Herrera with the double. Hernandez scores. The Phillies take a 1-0 lead.
well, obviously, I'm not changing anything about that front from Herrera after this swing. He gets a fastball in the inner half. What was impressive was he was able to keep that ball fair, not only getting to the barrel on the ball of it, but keeping it fair. As we see the Dodgers trying to get the speedy Hernandez, who slides home easily and safely.
And here comes Franco. Struck out at his first at bat. They built the old Yankee Stadium originally. The first year was 1921, give or take. Franco did something that no batter had ever done in the old Yankee Stadium or the new one. Had consecutive 5 RBI games about a month ago. That's one way to get some headlines.
Yeah. We saw the graphic earlier where he had 10 home runs in his first 37 games.
Cooled off some. The Phillies have a 1-0 lead. Franco pulls the string. Franco's way out in front. So Franco enters the game at 283. He's the greatest third baseman in Phillies history and maybe the greatest third baseman, period. Mike Schmidt, in his first year as a third baseman of the Phillies, hit 196. Michael Jackson.
I would not think that. Go back, and boy, did he make an adjustment.
In his second season, Schmidt hit 282 with 36 home runs and 116 runs batted in. And he was off to the races. He's one of the all-time great players, Mike Schmidt. Franco on 2-1. Lines one into the glove of Guerrero. There's 2 out. Broke his bat.
Off the end of the bat here. That was a line drive. It wasn't crushed at Guerrero. Easy play for Guerrero.
From Franco to Francoeur. Frenchie grew up outside Atlanta. He and Brian McCann played high school ball together and traveling squads together, and figured they would be, for the longest time, the faces of the franchise of the Braves. Well, McCann, of course, has moved up to New York, and Francoeur, who was a great high school football player, very close, going, I think, to Florida State, if memory serves.
Great athlete. Big, strong.
And now the veteran. Around the batting cage today. He was giving Larry Poe a hard time. It reminded Francoeur, it's a good thing you're a veteran now.
Yeah, if you're young and you do not want to give Larry Poe a hard time.
Jimmy Rollins, his first return to Philadelphia in a Dodger uniform. Here's the 1-1 to Francoeur.
We talked about those 2-out RBI situations, especially after the Dodgers having an opportunity and not knocking them in that last inning. But Alex Wood has an opportunity here to really try to minimize the damage. All right, you give up 1 run.
A single by Hernandez, the RBI double by Herrera. And Francoeur is down on strikes, and that will end the third. A run and 2 hits for the Phillies. 4 strikeouts for Wood. Grandal, Puig, and Peterson coming up when we come back. '15 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 31 highway MPG. It's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com today. Yasmani Grandal will lead it off for the Dodgers as we go to the fourth. We were talking in his first at-bat how he has really become one of the elite hitting catchers in the game. And
We knew you're trading for Yasmani. Comes over from San Diego, but what he has done in the Dodger uniform, granted last year dealing with injuries, but a healthy Yasmani, yeah, first in on-base percentage, first in slugging amongst catchers. Now he ranks in the top all-star catcher this year.
And on-base percentage, 400. All 15 of his home runs have come as a left-handed batter. And he takes under the knees, 1 ball and no strikes.
And he's done a great job with the pitching staff as well.
And it's gotten better and better at blocking balls. He's thrown out roughly 1 out of every 4 would-be base stealers. And he takes a strike. Batting 5th in Mattingly's lineup tonight. Puig and Peterson to follow. The Dodgers trail 1-0 as we begin the 4th inning. Two balls and 1 strike. Grandal battling knee issues most of last year. Two and 2. Yasmani is 26, 6'1", 2 1/4. And last year hit just .225 in San Diego off the end of the bat. A first-round pick, 12th overall in 2010, Yasmani Grandal. Number 1 pick that year, Bryce Harper.
He's done okay for
He's
himself.
done all right.
Yeah.
But what about the Nationals? Got an anchor around their neck these days. Here's the 3-2. Randolph fouls it off again.
Charlie, you've been around baseball a long time. Every team seems to go through one of those. It's the best. The good ones minimize that as best. You know, they try not to snowball so big. But you also understand you're going to go through them.
Yeah. The Nationals, though, a team of great expectations from Christmas time to this day. Off to the left and out of play, and they figured, okay, they think they're going to go through the season, relatively speaking, unscathed. They've had a ton of injuries. And then here are the Mets. Who knew? Washington has a 3-0 lead at home against Arizona, and Grandal continues his hot hitting. A leadoff single into center. Grandal wins a 9-pitch at bat.
We're talking about the Mets. Who knew? Gosh, they have a lot of good arms over there, don't they? Oh, man, those arms have kept them in it, and knew it was about their offense. They addressed the offense at the trade deadline.
What was fascinating in New York, in the 4-game series with the Mets, they had just lost a heartbreaker the previous night in Washington. I think they gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. The first 2 games against the Dodgers, they were deader than Julius Caesar. Then Uribe and Kelly Johnson show up, and suddenly you get a sense that there's a little life in that franchise. And then at the trade deadline, they get Cespedes. And now all of a sudden, they're dreaming like it's the 86 Mets or the 69 Mets. And they've been hot. And they're drawing crowds again. Puig, 1 hopper. That was just too much for Galvis. One had teeth on it. The Dodgers have first and second and nobody out.
Yes, Yasiel is able to extend those arms. And it's a rocket. That's one where if Galvis comes up with it, you're going, wow, what a play to stay with it. And just eats him up.
It goes as a hit, first and second, nobody out. Dodgers had second and third and nobody out in the 3rd inning and came up empty. The struggling Jock Peterson walked in his first at bat. So Peterson at .223 on the year. 21 home runs and 43 runs batted in. Guerrero on deck. Here's a strike, and it's 0-1.
You know, Charlie, there's situations where, okay, here he's batting 7th. You're thinking, all right, first and second, nobody out. Do I think to the right side, move the guy over, even if I make an out, move him, get second and third? But you're going, well, then they can pitch around Alex Guerrero to pitch to the pitcher. So you're going, listen, I'm going to take a chance here to try to knock the guy in. It's not just about giving yourself up and say, oh, roll over, move these guys over. Not in this spot, not in this situation. So now you're looking for that pitch that you believe you can handle to try to drive in that run from second base.
As there's McGuire, Honeycutt behind the manager. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jock Peterson.
Well, this ball starts off in the strike zone. That's why Jock's ready to swing at it, and then it just cuts on the inner half. Talked about Williams. He's got a fastball, and he's also got that cutter. And I'll tell you, that's such an effective pitch, a cutter from a right-handed pitcher into a lefty, and vice versa from a lefty into a right-handed hitter.
And if you make contact, your thumbs pay for it.
You know, well, we all know the best cutter we've seen in baseball, Mariano Rivera. And we would see, you would see managers go, okay, I'm going righty versus lefty up against him. And we used to go, no, that's a bad idea. A righty has a better chance on that cutter than the lefty because he breaks a lot of bats in there. I remember Carl Everett, switch hitter. He would bat right-handed versus Mariano Rivera because of that. He's like, what are you doing? He goes, I like my knuckles.
1 ball and 2 strikes with Grandal and Puig the runners. Did Peterson go around? Nope. That's the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg.
A lot of movement with the lower half of the body, but the hands stay back. It definitely holds up.
Giants and Braves tied at 1, bottom of the 4th in Atlanta. Guerrero's on deck. Dodgers down 1-0. So Peterson works the count full. Mattingly was talking about Peterson before the game. That's Guerrero on deck. And he said, this is stuff that we've been talking about on the air over the past 6 weeks or so. Peterson is a strikeout, a walk, or a home run. More than half the time, it's one of those 3. Peterson steps out with the permission from home plate umpire Brian O'Nora. O'Nora in his 16th big league season out of Youngstown, Ohio. Three and 2, nobody out. Because of Peterson and his proclivity to strike out a lot, runners not likely going anywhere. And they're not. And Peterson takes a walk. And the Dodgers have the bases loaded and nobody out.
Well, a lot of times it's tough to judge when a guy who has a big leg kick, you got the body going forward, and that one was close borderline and he was able to get the call. The other one was definitely a lot easier to call. That one, it looked like the barrel was getting close to that kind of that cusp, whether he win or not.
Bob McClure is going to go out and try to settle down Williams and has the entire infield in around him.
Now for Alex Guerrero coming up, his first at bat, he gets that. He's an aggressive first ball hitter, likes that first pitch, and he got a curveball that he swung through, and then he takes the next pitch where he should have swung. So this one, he's really got to battle with himself and say, okay, listen, still be aggressive, but make sure you set your sights where you want them, where you know that's a ball you can handle, so you can try to drive it to the outfield.
It's been a tussle for Williams from the beginning. Already it's 76 pitches. Although he's yet to give up a run. Dodgers had second and third and nobody out in the 3rd inning. Now they've got the bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th. And on June the 2nd, Alex Guerrero with the biggest home run of the year for the Dodgers and his only grand slam. Dodgers were down to their final strike in Colorado. He was pinch hitting, and he hit one off Rafael Betancourt. And the Dodgers would come from behind with 4 in the 9th and beat the Rockies 9-8. On 0-1 with the bases loaded, Guerrero fouls it, and it's 0-2. Guerrero struck out swinging in his first at bat. On 0-2. Well, that's the first out. And the 5th strikeout of the game for Williams.
These are the situations you got to find a way. You got to figure out. You're knowing how important with the pitcher on deck and on third, less than 2 outs. And they had Guerrero set up perfectly there. You even saw Ruiz before that pitch go, throw it in the dirt, make it look like a strike. Go, we know he's aggressive. And get him to swing.
Well, the Dodgers had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 3rd, came up empty. Bases loaded, now 1 man out in the 4th. Wood single to left, and a 5-3 double play. So the Dodgers come up empty for the 2nd consecutive inning. They leave 4 in the last 2 innings alone and trail 1-0 after 3.5. On today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com and by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Use promo code BLUECREW for free entry. Well, the Dodgers certainly have had their chances, and between these two teams so far after 3.5 innings combined, they are 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And through the first 4 innings, the Dodgers have left 6 men on base.
We talked about Alex Wood coming into the day, and I was talking about his curveball, how effective it's been this year for him. As you see the average there, the 220 average, and the percentage of strikeouts he's been able to get with that curveball. And so far today, he's given up 2 hits on the changeup, 2 hits on his fastball, and just 1 hit on that curveball.
Rick Honeycutt in conference with Stan Conti, head trainer.
You're always nervous. You're going, okay, talking to the trainer, and everything all right? And really hope We're not talking about newly acquired Alex Wood and hope that he's okay.
Ryan Howard leads it off and lines it into the glove of Adrian Gonzalez. One pitch, one out in the fourth. September 9th, 1965. Sandy Koufax threw a perfect game against the Cubs and became the first pitcher in Major League history to throw 4 no-hitters. Thursday night, August the 13th, the first 40,000 fans in attendance received the Sandy Koufax bobblehead presented by United Healthcare. For tickets, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Darren Ruff with one out and nobody on, single to center in his first at bat. And a call strike. So a frustrating night for the Dodgers to this point offensively. Down a run with one out in the bottom of the fourth.
For the Dodgers so far, it's one thing saying, okay, pitcher's going out there, we're not getting hits, and you can tip your hat to Jerome Williams. He's throwing a gem, but when you have opportunities twice, man at third base and less than 2 outs and not even to come up with one, that's frustrating.
Yeah. Second and third, nobody out in the third inning. Bases loaded, nobody out in the fourth. And to this point, the Phillies 1 run and 5 hits. Wood has struck out 4.
Big strong man in Ruff, able to hold up.
Two and two with one out of the bottom of the fourth. Wood on his 56th spit. This is just outside. Alex Wood, 3-2 in 12 career games against the Phillies. Of course, playing in the same division. Strikes out Ruff, and that's the second out of the fourth inning. And the fourth strikeout of the game.
We just showed the graphic before. What about that curveball? How effective has it been? Well, there it is. Curveball, swing and miss. And a nice strikeout on Ruff.
It brings up Freddie Galvis, who singled to right in his first at bat. Galvis at 279. Right into the glove of Kendrick. And then a 1-2-3 inning for Wood. And when we come back to the fifth, Jimmy Rollins, his first game back in Philadelphia in a Dodger uniform, will lead it on. August 15th when the Dodgers take on the Cincinnati Reds. Stay after the game and enjoy the final movie in the 2015 Dodger Stadium movie series, where we'll be celebrating Back to the Future's 30th anniversary. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. It'll be the top of the order for the Dodgers as we head to the 5th. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off, and then Howie Kendrick and Adrian Gonzalez. A frustrating night for the Dodgers with a bat in their hands. They've got no runs and 4 hits. Second and third, nobody out, failed to score in the third. Bases loaded, nobody out, failed to score in the fourth. They have left 6 men on base through the first 4 innings against Jerome Williams, who came into the game with an ERA of .636 and an ERA of nearly 8 in his last 8 starts. So they've had him on the ropes, haven't been able to knock him down. Rollins takes a strike, 0-1. Young J. Roll. An older J. Roll. One ball, 1 strike. Kendrick on deck and the 1-1. Fouled off to the left. 1-2.
You know, for me, Charlie, the frustration is obviously not being able to capitalize on those opportunities already there in the 3rd and the 4th with the guys at third base. But you're facing a team that obviously is last in their division.
Well, Rollins dumps a base hit into left field. He's 2 for 3.
And when a team's last like this and struggling, getting late in the season, you can really just take the wind out of their sail by capitalizing on those opportunities. As Jimmy stays on that tailing fastball going the other way. But when you give them like kind of glimpses of hope, momentum starts going back on their side. And not only that, the Dodgers also have a new pitcher on the hill. So it's good to give him some runs to get him some confidence too, so he doesn't feel like he has to be perfect out there.
Kendrick 0 for 2. Rollins goes, fouled off to the right, 0-1.
Those guys together probably putting on a little hit and run there to try to get something going.
Lorenzo Bundy, third base coach.
Good job by the Dodgers there, going, all right, let's put some pressure on. And the other thing when I'm thinking about this inning is, okay, you had an opportunity, base loaded in the 4th. You couldn't come through with nobody out. Well, then Alex Wood does a great job having a quick 4th inning. It's almost like a shutdown inning to get the team, okay, back in there and say, okay, let's continue. We had a chance, but let's get back out there. And you have a leadoff single by Jimmy Rollins, so here's another opportunity.
1-1 to Kendrick, who has struck out and bounced to third. Sign from Mattingly to Bundy to Kendrick to Rollins. Brian Howard's almost a foot taller than Jimmy Rollins. Alan Porter is the first base umpire.
He's almost a foot taller than Alan Porter, too.
One ball and now 2 strikes to Howie Kendrick.
There's a lot of movement on that fastball by Jerome Williams. Really saw that tail and kind of eat up Howie Kendrick.
Williams hasn't won a game since May 16th. Missed a month with a pulled hamstring. He's been frustrating the Dodgers. To third, Franco. There's 1, but not 2. So Rollins takes out Hernandez at second base.
Well, we've already seen the range by Franco earlier in the game, and Jimmy Rollins going in hard. I love it. Doesn't care if it's a homecoming. He's going to play the game right as it should. Goes in hard. Unable to turn that double play.
Well, both players showing respect for one another. Good, hard, clean baseball play.
That's what you do. It's like he's not going in there cleats up. He's not sliding way past the bag. He's not rolling. He's going in there hard to try to break things up cleanly. And that's the way you do it.
Adrian Gonzalez is struck out and he has walked. And he takes outside. In the fifth in Atlanta, the Giants and Braves are tied at 1. Marlins lead the Mets 1-0. Mets are hitting in the top of the fifth in Florida. And the Nationals are shutting out the Diamondbacks 3-0 in the third inning at Nationals Park. Games of specific interest in the National League. Ethier on deck. 2-0 to Gonzalez. 2-1.
This was a changeup on the outer half. It was a good pitch by Jerome Williams, and you know, Adrian was asking, like, you sure that was a strike? It was showing pitch tracks where it fell out of the zone.
Either it was low, or it was outside, or it was both.
As a hitter, you're thinking it's both. How could it not be?
.33-year-old Jerome Williams pitching to this point his best game of the season. Kendrick has 5 stolen bases in 7 tries, and Gonzalez bangs a base hit into left field. Kendrick takes a big turn. He's on his way to third. The throw is not going to be in time. Good base running for Howie Kendrick. 1 with 1 out, and 2, he had the play entirely in front of him.
It was a good read by Howie Kendrick. I mean, first, what a beautiful swing by Adrian Gonzalez. But Howie Kendrick sees it all in front of him. He's like, okay, I'm judging. I don't need to look at Lorenzo Bundy. This is my decision here. And knowing, as you mentioned, Charlie, you're trying to get to third there with less than 2 outs. And once again, the Dodgers, third inning in a row with an opportunity with a man on third and less than 2 outs to try to get a run in.
At second and third, nobody out in the third. Bases loaded, nobody out in the fourth. And now here is Ethier. The Dodgers tonight hitless in 5 opportunities with runners in scoring position. So Ethier, of course, the home run hitting hero on Sunday afternoon, hitting 2. First and third and 1 out. Into right field for a base hit. Kendrick will score. Gonzalez will hold at second. The Dodgers finally put a man across the plate and tie it at 1. So Ethier had that home run in the 8th, the 2-run home run in the 10th, and knocks in a run here in the 5th inning.
We talked about Jerome Williams. He's had a lot of movement on all of his pitches. His off-speed pitches, his fastball. And that pitch right there also was not straight. Had some movement, tailing down in the zone. He got the ground ball. He was looking for a ground ball, possibly double play. Gets the ground ball, but luckily for the Dodgers and Ethier, it finds the hole.
It's like Justin DeFreitas in the Philly bullpen. Meanwhile, as you see, 95 pitches have already been thrown by Williams. Grandal is 1 for 2. And he takes high, 2 balls and no strikes. Pitching has been the biggest issue for the Phillies this year. Team ERA 4.59 coming into the game, ranking 14th. Their starters' ERA has been worse than that, over 5. The bullpen ERA is about 3.5, ranking 10th. The last 5 batters in which Williams has fallen behind the Dodger hitters, each has come up with a hit. Pete Buchanan, all he can do is watch. Grandal's bounced out and singled to center. The Dodgers now with a run and 7 base hits. Two and one.
You know, we saw that pitch to Adrian Gonzalez that was down and away. This one looked like it went off the plate as well. And we look at there in that strike zone that it was off the plate.
Incredible expanding strike zone. 2 and 1 with first and second. 2 and 2. Yasiel Puig is on deck. I must ask Puig at some point why he does that.
Why he beats himself up with his bat all the time. I'm glad Charlie, I'm glad you said I have to ask Yasiel, and you just say, hey, Nomar, do you know why? Because I have no idea.
I'll cut out the middleman. 2 and 2, first and second. Now 3 and 2.
That was a nice block by Ruiz behind home plate. And as that goes through, it's a lot different when you have that man second and third all of a sudden, even though base open. But watch Adrian, he was following. He's like, whoop, no, that didn't get away far enough.
So on 3 and 2. Runner's not likely to go anywhere with Gonzalez the lead. Ethier at first base. Grandal has been struck out 60 times. And the 3-2, the runners stay put, and Grandal strikes out.
You know what sets up that type of swing on Grandal was that first pitch strike that he gets called on the outer half. That started off in the same spot and tails away. And that's still in your mind as a hitter. You're thinking about that. And you're like, oh, now all of a sudden I got it protected. You see him just almost hoping he could foul it off to get another pitch.
So 100 pitches have been thrown by Jerome Williams. 23 of them were seen by Grandal. Down on strikes, 2 out. And here's Puig. Whistled a single past Freddie Galvis back in the 4th inning. And he fouls it back just below us. No balls and a strike. Yasiel Puig at .251. 7 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Dodgers have clogged the bases tonight, but they've got 1 run to show for their work. First and second, 2 out. Into left field. Back goes Ruff. And he'll get it. 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 men left. After 4.5, Dodgers and Phillies are tied at 1. Alex Wood and the Dodgers tied with the Phillies at 1-1. Wood threw 4 innings, a run and 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks, 59 pitches, 41 for strikes. The Dodgers to this point, 1 run, 7 hits, and they've left 8 men on base through 5 innings. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 each in the third, fourth, and fifth. Ruiz will lead it off. Cody Ashe in the on-deck circle will pinch hit for Jerome Williams, who's run out of gas, 102 pitches in 5 innings. Ruiz bounced into his 12th double play of the year in his first at-bat. There's Ashe. Cesar Hernandez to follow. Wood delivers a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Very first pitch of the game, he threw as a Dodger. Hernandez doubled to center. Phillies were unable to capitalize. And since then, there's Williams, who's about done. Four strikeouts and no walks given up by Wood, who delivers a strike, and it's 2-2. So Matt Latos on Sunday at Dodger Stadium, a run and 4 hits in 6 innings. And Wood, so far, so good in the bottom half of the 5th. Missing outside. Shoots at 219. Ground slowly to short. Rollins on the odd hop bubbles.
This one, right off the bat, you're like, oh no, this is going to get that in between, and it does catch Jimmy in between. Granted, he bobbled it, but the fact that it was an in between hop throws your rhythm all off, and it ended up with that air as we had a look at the Morongo slow-mo cam there.
So Cody Ashe is going to pinch hit for Williams. For the Dodgers, their 45th error of the year. It's the fewest in the National League. Ashe gets out of the way. Dodgers, statistically, the best defense in the National League this year. Last year, they ranked 14th. And one of the reasons the Dodger defense has been so much better. Rollins at short, Kendrick at center, or at second. Peterson in center. Grandal behind the plate.
Yeah, and that man over there, they just showed Adrian Gonzalez. Talk about that infield, and as you mentioned, Charlie, and playing shortstop and third, and you have a good first baseman over there. It just gives you so much confidence. It makes the whole infield better.
2 balls and a strike. 2-2. Giants hitting in the top of the 6th have now taken the lead on Atlanta 2-1. Dodgers lead over the Giants is 3. Dodgers don't play another Western Division team until the end of the month, August 31st, against the Giants at Dodger Stadium. Ashe down on strikes.
Comes in with a nice changeup there. Good changeup on the inner part to the left-hander that the bottom just falls out to get that swing and miss.
And Wood's 6th strikeout of the game. Well, he has fit nicely into this Dodger rotation. A lot of strikeouts and no walks. There's a fastball inside and low. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, so far, Charlie, you were just talking about the strikeouts and no walks. And he also pitches quickly, too. He's got a great rhythm up there on the hill.
And the defensive players love it.
And not caught on your heels, you're on your toes, and the fact that he not only when you're working quick and you throw strikes, because you know he's going to be in the strike zone and you have to be ready. All of that just makes you a better defender.
A ball and a strike. To third, Guerrero bobbled the initial hop and then kind of babied the throw. And Kendrick was wise to hold on to it. A force out, 2 out.
Guerrero here, he gets that short hop in. There are infielders who just feel better throwing off the run or have more confidence throwing off the run than they do planting and making that throw. We'll see other third basemen plant on that one and make a hard throw to second. He throws off the run, and Howie wisely just said, okay, there's no way I'm turning double play on the Speedy Hernandez with that one, and just made sure that one out.
Odubel Herrera coming up, and he's got a double and 2 at-bats. Tied at 1 with 2 out of the bottom of the 5th. Now, as a hitter, trying to deal with the motion of Alex Wood. Of course, you're always looking for the release point all around. But you've got arms and legs. Looks like a jalopy with wheels coming off in all directions.
Yeah, it's like I said, there's some deception there because of all of that. But it's a matter, like you just mentioned, it's a matter of trying to pick up that release point. And with all of that movement, it's also saying, okay, can I also time him prior to that release point? As you're just looking in, honing in, and saying, okay, I'm watching his windup, and that's my timing mechanism.
One ball, no strikes. And he must be murder on left-handed batters.
See his motion. Watch how he drops down, but as a hitter, you don't really, okay, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Now you start picking it up. It's so late, and by then he's already down the hill, front foot being down.
Lefties have little luck against him. As Herrera's finding out. 6 strikeouts for Wood to this point. A very manageable 76 pitches. 1 and 2, 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Runner goes. Doesn't matter. 7th strikeout for Wood. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left. Bottom third of the Dodgers order coming up in the 6th. So far, so good for Alex Wood. Along with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is the up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. New pitcher for the Phillies, Justin DeFreitas, his 47th appearance, and has a hefty earned run average. 5.18. 33 earned runs, 64 hits in 57 innings. And opposing hitters hitting .287 against him.
Sure would be nice to see if the Dodgers can add to that hefty ERA right here, especially after what we've just seen from Wood those last 5 innings.
7 strikeouts, no walks for Alex Wood in his Dodger debut. Here's Jock Peterson, who has walked twice tonight. Taking high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Guerrero on deck, and then Wood. Dodger bullpen is quiet. Wood is at 77 pitches through 5. 2 balls, no strikes to Peterson. Justin DeFreitas, born, raised, and still lives in Oxnard. Went to Ventura College, Maria Mesa High School. Three balls and no strikes to Peterson. DeFreitas, an 11th round pick in 2007. 54 appearances last year and a .239 earned run average.
I'll tell you, I'm giving Jock the green light 3-0 here. If he gets a pitch he can handle.
Instead, he'll take a 4-pitch walk. That's 3 walks tonight for Peterson. Guerrero coming up. And then Alex Wood. Dodgers and Phillies are tied at 1. Dodgers are run 7 hits. They've left 8 men on base. So they've had their chances tonight. Guerrero swings and misses, 0-1. DeFreitas took something off, and Guerrero is way out in front.
You know, we talked about making adjustments over the course of a season, and pitchers are going to make adjustments. They know Alex Guerrero likes that first pitch fastball. They know his damage early in the season has been on that, and they're going, all right, well, see, here's the curveball.
Good luck to you.
Yep.
There's the fastball and a swing and a miss.
And then we've seen, okay, now they come back with that curveball that starts off as a strike and buries down in the dirt to try to get the swing and miss.
Oh, and 2. Down on strikes. Guerrero 0 for 3. He's been struck out 3 times.
He just comes with that fastball in the outer half. Talked about the breaking ball. They've been getting it on him, and they're like, all right, yeah, you're thinking the breaking ball. Here comes the fastball in the outer half. If they, even if it was off, they didn't care. Like, gosh, we had so many balls to play with, and he's able to catch the corner.
So Wood looking to sacrifice. He takes a strike. Wood has sacrificed 5 times this year in Atlanta. Checking the signs from Lorenzo Bundy. And Jimmy Rollins on deck. So DeFreitas taking too much time for Wood's liking. Maikel Franco is well inside the grass at third base. Here's a strike, 0-2. So now Wood wonders, what would you like me to do?
Originally they said bunt the ball. Keep pulling back on it.
Well, he's squaring again. Let's see if he pulls back. Oop. 1-2. Giants 2-1 over the Braves. Atlanta hitting in the bottom of the 6th. DeFreitas on 1-2. Wood's just as happy as anything to get out of the batter's box.
Going back, yeah, you're like, all right, you got 2 strikes on me. There's the foul ball, and that's strike 3. But like you said, Charlie, that's going right for you're out. You're squared away, and you're like, wait a minute, that's coming kind of near my head.
Hello, I must be going.
Yeah.
Well, they're still cheering him. He got a great ovation when he was first introduced. And all night. The Rollins reunion tour continues happily. Jimmy is 2 for 3. A single and a double. He's also been struck out.
And he comes to the plate. It looks like he's laughing, smiling. I mean, you know, played a long time with Carlos Ruiz there, and they're teammates. I'm sure he's talking to him. And I remember when I went back, and it was Veritek was behind home plate. My second at bat, I went, this is weird. The last time you were catching and I came to the plate was an inter squad game when we were in college.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But you were 5 years removed
Yeah.
when you went back to Fenway. And I imagine it was like the night before Christmas, the night before that game. What are the presents going to be under the tree?
Yeah. A lump of coal or
or a brand new bicycle. But that was one of those nights you'll never forget. Has been for Jimmy Rollins tonight. Tied at 1 with 2 out in the top of the 6th.
One of the coolest thing was Adam Kennedy, a veteran, was on the team in Oakland, and we were on the plane on the way to Boston, and he had heard, he didn't know. He goes, wait a minute, this is your first time you're going back? And he's like, yeah. And he came up to me and he's like, I'm so glad and honored I'm going to be a part of this. And that really meant a lot to me.
Rollins takes a strike. And then the inevitable players who sign free agent contracts and then return, and then they get booed out of the joint.
Yeah. That happens there too.
Yeah.
Here as well.
Just ask Santa. 2 balls and a strike. Philadelphia fans will tell you, however, that the Santa Claus who was booed was skinny, drunk, and didn't have a beard. That's their story, and who are we to argue? They might have had a point. Breaking ball for a strike, 2-2. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah.
2-2 with 2 out. See if Peterson's going. He's not. Hopped up, left side. Franco taking charge. That'll end the inning. Lorenzo hits a walk and a man left. After 5.5, Dodgers and Phillies tied at 1. Dodger uniform. Through 5 innings, he has struck out 7, hasn't walked anybody, 77 pitches, 52 for strikes. Maikel Franco, Jeff Francoeur, and Ryan Howard to hit in the bottom of the 6th. Dodgers have had runners on base in every inning. They've left 9 through the first 6 innings. So they could have had a good deal more than they've got. Franco is lined to third and has been struck out. 1 ball and no strikes. We were mentioning earlier that Franco was the first batter ever at the new or old Yankee Stadium to have successive 5 RBI games. That was back in June. That one's well hit to left. Ethier's going back to the wall, and he will make the catch. Ethier had to make a spin tracking that fly ball. Big day, of course, for the return of Jimmy Rollins, and we're happy to have Kelly Tennant along with us tonight. Kelly?
Thanks so much, Charlie. And it's not just highly anticipated for Jimmy Rollins to make his return to Philadelphia, but it was really for the fans and their excitement. He said, look, this wasn't a date that I circled on my calendar. I've been excited to come back, but I wasn't really focused on it. When he spoke to the media earlier today, he talked about the fact that he came in a day early to spend some time with his family and be in the city. But he said, I didn't even know how to get to the visitors clubhouse, and it was a really long walk, and I thought that was pretty unfair. But he was really happy to see a lot of familiar faces and be back in this park, guys.
It really has been a happy homecoming for Rollins. Now let's see if the Dodgers can keep up their end of the bargain.
That was one of the things I was wondering. I go, yeah, you spent 15 years, but doesn't mean you ever went to the visitors clubhouse, even all those times, just to go over there.
Did you realize how small the visitors clubhouse was at Fenway Park?
Oh, yeah. Because I had never gone over there either, and I was like, oh, this is it. Wow.
That's what they've been complaining about all these years. So 1 out, 1 on. Francoeur with the single to center. No lefties hit a home run off wood this year. And they still haven't.
Talking about that small clubhouse, it's like Wrigley. It's like the old Detroit.
Tiger Stadium.
Yes, that one. We used to have to dress in shifts there. The veterans would say, "Hey, rookies, get here early to put your uniform on so you can get out."
And at Tiger Stadium, even more so even than Wrigley or Fenway, the roof in the dugout
always hit your head.
Oh, yeah. No balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Howard, who has struck out and lined to third. Howard, 18 home runs and 60 runs batted in. Down on strikes. 8 strikeouts for Wood.
I tell you, Alex Wood seems to have gotten stronger as the game has gone on. It's like he's gotten more and more confident in his pitches, his breaking ball, and let's not forget too, it's not only his debut, but it's also the first time throwing to Yasmani Grandal. So even as this game has progressed, it looks like they've been in tune, and you get to see Rick Honeycutt. He's probably picking up things on Wood as well. He's making notes.
Darren Ruff, who's 1 for 2. 1 ball and no strikes. And for Wood, this is his 12th appearance and his 8th start against the Phillies. So he has seen them before, and just as importantly, they have seen him. But he has had control tonight. Missing inside. Rough 4 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Tied at 1. 2 out in the bottom of the 6th. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1. Freddie Galvis is on deck. Frank Ford first after the 1-out single. 3 and 2.
And he's not afraid. I mean, this is a bat already against Ruff. Thrown 2-0 count, a 2-0 count, and a 3-1 count. Hitters count. He's throwing off-speed pitches.
So on 3 and 2 with 2 out. Grounded past Guerrero into left field. Francoeur will hold at second. That'll bring up Freddie Galvis.
Well, we talked about Alex Wood. He's going to be throwing strikes, and this one just finds a hole in between short and third. Great effort over there by Guerrero, and unable to come up with it.
Big story out of Detroit today. Into the line and into the run of Dave Dombrowski, president and CEO of the Tigers after 14 years. Now Rick Honeycutt's going to go out and have a chat with Wood. Dodger bullpen is going to work. It's like Joel Peralta out there. The veteran Peralta. If you are what your record says you are, and that's what Bill Parcells says, and who are we to argue? Rick Honeycutt is the best pitching coach in the game. He took over in 2006 as the pitching coach for the Dodgers. They've got the lowest ERA in the majors since then, 3.65. Lowest opponent's batting average, 2.47. And the most strikeouts, 12,113. And a pretty darn good pitcher in his day, too. So now first and second, 2 out. And a strike, 0-1 to Galvis. Galvis, 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in. First and second, 2 out. 0-2.
That curveball by Alex Wood. He has one that can come in on the batter on the inner half on the righty, and then he has this one that's just, you give up on it because it's out of his hand. It's a ball, and it catches the corner.
A little nubber. Wood will flip it to Gonzalez, and that'll end the inning. Phillies tonight 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. After 6 innings of play, Dodgers and Phils are tied at 1. Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo with the hashtag SNLA Data Strong Fan for a chance to be shown in an upcoming telecast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Changes for the Phillies. As we go to the top half of the 7th inning, Jeff Francoeur moves from right field to left. That's Dominic Brown, takes his place in right. And the new pitcher is Genmar Gomez. This is his 46th appearance. Impressive numbers. An ERA just a shade over 2. And he will be facing Howie Kendrick, Adrian Gonzalez, and Andre Ethier in a 1-1 tie. Braves are hitting in the bottom of the 7th. Giants leading in Atlanta 2-1. Mets and Marlins tied at 1, top of the 7th in Florida. And the Diamondbacks have tied the Nationals 3-3 in the bottom of the 4th. Kendrick 1 for 3. Got a board on a force out and would score the only run of the game. Here's Gomez's first pitch. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Phillies have won 12 of their last 15. Playing the Dodgers tough. Of course, the Dodgers had their way with the Phillies last month in Los Angeles. And since 2012, the Dodgers here at Citizens Bank Park have beaten the Phillies 8 of the last 10. But they're in a 1-1 tussle here in the top half of the 7th.
Gomez features a fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider, and that changeup right there was a really good one. Right out of his hand, looked like a fastball, and just sunk right out of the zone.
Giving Kendrick a lot of room in left center field. But Howie, by and large, hits the other way. Gomez has given up 1 home run in his last 90 innings of work. And the 2-2. Up the middle. Look at Galvis. What a play.
Fine play by Galvis. Ball up the middle, ranging far to his left, and body control as his momentum is still taking him to right field to still make a good throw to first base. As we look at that on Carl's cam, Robin Kendrick of a base hit.
That brings up Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian is single to left. He's walked and has been struck out. Things low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Adrian, 21 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Lines one into center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit in front of Herrera. Second hit for Gonzalez.
And this one he gets off the end of the bat. Might have broken his bat on this one as it was tailing away, but he stays on it enough to get a base hit to center.
So Gonzalez is 2 for 3. And Ethier, who is 1 for 3 and has driven in the only run of the game for the Dodgers to this point, stepping in. Fastball strike outside corner at the knees, and it's 0-1.
Seen a few of these pitches that start off in the zone and seem to be tailing out of the zone and getting that call. That was one of them that was really borderline ball strike on Ethier.
Ryan O'Nora calling the balls and strikes tonight. 1-1. Talking with Phillies bench coach Larry Bowa before the game. He initiates the conversation by saying, Ethier's swinging the bat pretty good, isn't he?
I said, yeah, you're right. I talked to him. I'm like, yep.
Galvis will take it himself. And that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. 7th inning stretch. The Dodgers and Phillies are tied at 1. Rollins and the Dodgers are tied with the Phillies 1-1 as we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. It'll be Carlos Ruiz, Dominic Brown, and Cesar Hernandez to hit for the Phillies. Through 6 innings, Wood has been terrific in his Dodger debut. 8 strikeouts, no walks, a run and 7 hits. That was just his 94th pitch. Ruiz 0 for 2. Well hit to left, but hooking foul. This is one of the more home run hitting friendly ballparks. This one in Cincinnati. Just 329 down the line. Power alley in left center is 374. Straightaway 401. And 330 down the line. To the right side, Kendrick can't quite reach it. So Ruiz with the leadoff single into right field.
Ruiz coming in, his average is 220, but doesn't it always seem like late innings he's coming up with that big hit when they need it? Yeah, him and Yadier Molina is another one as a catcher. Like, all right, you're like, okay, his defense, he's in there for his defense, calls the game. Average may be low, but then all of a sudden when that clutch hit is needed, they come through.
Well, those Phillies teams that were tormenting the Dodgers, Matt Stairs, Rollins, those guys, there was almost a sense of inevitability. Oh, here they come. Here they come. See, Broxton is in St. Louis now. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dominic Brown. 244 with a couple of home runs. They thought Dominic Brown was going to be the next big kid out of their farm system. But not really panned out quite yet. Slowly hit to second. Kendrick. There's one. Now they're going to throw back to second base. And it's too late. Take us through that play, Nomar.
Well, because it was slowly hit, you're thinking, okay, I don't really have a chance at a double play. So if you can get them to stop, especially with a runner like Ruiz, you're thinking, all right, then I'll just get the run and maybe we can get it back to second base for that double play. Because the momentum there, the only way you're thinking, and it's so hard to think in the middle of that play, because your instinct as a second baseman is to charge it, get that runner, either tag and get him out, but to just stop and just turn around and throw to second in the middle of your thought process when instinctively that's the way you do it. It's so hard to do, and so he tried it and unable to come up with it.
Alex Wood's first walk of the night, an intentional pass to Hernandez. It'll bring up Herrera with first and second, and 1 man out. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, the Braves still hitting in the bottom of the 7th. They've taken a 3-2 lead on the Giants. Mets and Marlins tied at 1 in the top of the 8th in Florida. Diamondbacks and Nationals tied at 3, top of the 5th in Washington. And Wood, it is 103 pitches. Herrera's bounced to second, doubled, and has been struck out. First and second. 1 out, bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. The lead man, Ruiz, just average speed at second base. There's a strike, 0-1. Well, both teams have had their chances tonight. Tied at 1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Each team with a run and 8 base hits. Herrera's at 283. Takes low and outside, 2-1. Luis Avila may soon be making his Dodger debut, and Joel Peralta's been warm and ready for a while. Franco on deck is a right-handed hitter. Two and 1 to Herrera with 28 runs batted in. Hit it well, but foul.
We heard the reaction all the way up here, but as we see the frustration, he thinks that was the pitch he could handle and really drive, and fouls it off. It's good after that frustration there that they're getting into. This is a big pitch here. 2-2, you have a man on second base. Let's get the signs right, possibly change them up in case, Smart you got a catcher over there who recognizes signs that he's not relaying the signs to the hitter. So make sure you cover that. And make sure you're in tune with him for this pitch. After you have a guy who fouls off like that and is frustrated, that you guys are on the same page.
Well, we often hear how you have to change the signs with a runner at second base. What we don't often hear is how does the runner at second base then let the hitter know what kind of a pitch is coming and where it's coming from.
Oh, there's so many ways, subtle ways to let them know, whether how you step, where where your hands are, where you look as you're stepping off.
The 2-2 high, 3-2.
So many subtle ways. And then there's times, I used to look at shortstop and then I could see the obvious ways and I'd go to him. I said, are you really going to make it that obvious? And you're going to tell him? Because the guy's going to get one in the neck here if you don't stop that,
So it might be his hands?
Might be his hands. It might be as he steps. Subtle with the foot. Okay, if my first step is off with the right foot, it could be off speed. Or if I kind of cross just a little bit.
Well, that was ugly. Ball is in play. And into score from second base is Ruiz. Now he's being sent back by second base umpire Ripperger. McCannon wants the interpretation from home plate umpire Brian O'Nora. Now Mattingly wants to get an interpretation. What's going on here? Is it a balk and a dead ball? Now the four umpires are going to get together. Brian O'Nora is the one without the hat. He's the home plate umpire.
You see the ball just slipping out of his hand, but it stays fair. And I wonder if it's fair, but look at the runner. Ruiz does not mess around and didn't even slow down. He was aware of it. Everybody was just watching, and watch Ruiz, smart. Okay, well, if nobody's going after it, I'm going to take a chance.
Meanwhile, the four umpires are still going over the rule. Now O'Nora is going to talk to Pete McCannon. Mattingly wants the interpretation from the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg. The Dodger infielders all congregated near the pitching mound.
I'm wondering if it has to do with the fact that it didn't go past the foul lines for a pitch where it's not like necessarily a wild pitch, but possibly looked at as a balk.
If it's a balk and then a dead ball.
Correct.
That was our initial reaction, and they're still talking about it. Alan Porter's the umpire on the left. Well, Ruiz did the right thing.
Oh, yeah. That was great heads up by Ruiz.
Home plate umpire Brian O'Nora kind of gets in the way of the play.
Yeah, like it looked like once he was looking at where that ball was, like he was almost saying, okay, no, that's just a balk.
That was our initial instinct, balk, dead ball.
Right.
Now,
I guess the interpretation, you're going, okay, yeah, it slipped out of his hand, but it's almost as if he was in the windup and was trying to pick the guy off at first and threw it over there.
Now let's see what's going to happen. They're sending Ruiz back to third base. The count is 3-2. Balk, dead ball. Oh, he got one right for a change.
Charlie, you've been around a long time, seen a lot of games. I'm sure you've seen that numerous times.
Oh, many. Yeah, I went to the Rolodex for that one. Meanwhile, the count is full. The infield is in. And this now the biggest pitch of the game. The bases are loaded. And Maikel Franco is coming up. Don Mattingly's coming out of the dugout. And Peralta and Avilan were warming in the pen. And it will be the veteran Peralta coming in with the bases loaded, one out. Franco to hit, tied at 1 in the bottom of the 7th. Wood can do after 109 pitches. It's 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 intentional. Keep his fingers crossed and hope for the best that Peralta in his 22nd appearance can get the very difficult Maikel Franco and then Jeff Francoeur after that. The bases are loaded with 1 out. A hit, a balk, 2 walks, including an intentional walk, and Franco, who's 0 for 3, coming up. Ruiz, Hernandez, and Herrera, the base runners. Franco struck out in the first inning. Line to third and flied to left. Dodger infield hoping for a double play. But Franco's a fast runner. And he takes a strike from Peralta, 0-1.
Usually you have the middle infielders kind of thinking about a double play, and you have the corners pinching in. But we have Adrian, he was in. We had Alex Guerrero playing back.
Franco has bounced into 8 double plays. Tied at 1 with 1 out, bases loaded in the bottom half of the 7th. Ruiz the lead run at third. 1 ball and 1 strike.
see it. I was talking about the corners. You see Adrian, like, all right, he's probably in the baseline, little in. But you have Alex playing back. You're going, so he has a decision. He has to really read the ground ball. A hard one, okay, turn, go to second, or that in-betweener to try to come home.
39-year-old Joel Peralta. Giants have just taken a 6-3 lead in Atlanta in the 8th. 1-1 to Franco. Fly ball left field on its way, and it is gone. A grand slam. Michael Franco. Historically, Citizens Bank Park has been a house of horrors for the Dodgers, and Franco delivers the grand slam.
This ball just hangs up there for Franco, a hanging breaking ball. This is every hitter's dream right there, to get a breaking ball right down the middle that hangs up in the zone, and Franco does not miss it. He crushes this ball.
His 12th home run, now 44 runs batted in. Franco with the curtain call. Francoeur takes a strike. It's 0-1. Well, the statistics for Wood and his performance tonight, not in sync. One hop to Rollins. Francoeur retired. There's 2 out. Franco had a pretty good idea. He had hit it on the screws. And so did Peralta. So Alex Wood goes 6 1/3. Gives up 8 hits, all 4 runs his responsibility statistically. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. 5-1 Philly. Ryan Howard takes high. One of the young Phils around whom they feel they can rebuild this franchise.
Yeah.
Franco had back-to-back 5 RBI games in June. And he knocks in 4 with one mighty wallop here in the bottom of the 7th. Howard 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and lined out. 1-2. So Wood's night is done. Now the Dodgers have a big mountain to climb. Kershaw will be pitching Friday night in Pittsburgh. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. 4 in, bottom of the 7th. Mets now lead the Marlins 5-1 in the 8th inning in South Florida. The Giants have overtaken the Braves 6-3 in the top of the 8th in Atlanta. Dodgers began the night 3 in front of San Francisco. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Grandal, Puig, and Peterson will bat for the Dodgers in the 8th.
That was a huge blow, obviously. But what goes back to what we were talking about, you let the Phillies just kind of creep back in here when you had an opportunity early in this game to kind of put them away.
Dodgers had 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 3rd. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th, and could not cash in a run. Howard down on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. But Peralta comes in to face Maikel Franco and delivers a grand slam. And now the Phillies take a 5-1 lead as we go to the 8th. And some numbers to back it up. Franco, his first career grand slam, the difference maker in the bottom of the 7th. Rollins on his first return to Philadelphia. Good night individually. Alex Wood was fine, but it was the grand slam given up by Joel Peralta that inflated Wood's numbers and gave the Phillies their big lead. Franco, the grand slam, the first by a Philly rookie since Ryan Howard 10 years ago. Grandal leads it off and lines a single into left field. So the Dodgers looking for some come from behind heroics, and they've got 6 outs left to figure it out. Grandal is now 2 for 4. The difference in the game down in Atlanta, the Braves and the Giants, San Francisco has a 6-3 lead. A 3-run home run by Hunter Pence. That came 7 minutes before Franco's grand slam. So in the metaphorical blink of an eye,
timing is everything.
Generalissimo Franco. Puig is 1 for 3 tonight. Chops it to third. There's one. And I assume out on the transfer, and that's the call by Ripperger.
They're going to wait to see and check whether they're going to go question that one.
For the moment, Grandal remains at second base. Dodgers looking at the replay. That would be a transfer play, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That one he catches it, but they're going to call that. Yeah. A lot of times, you know, obviously now we have replay, but for umpires, it used to be a rule of thumb is watching where the ball went. If it went backwards for the guy who's turning it, they're like, okay, that's on the transfer. If it just kind of fell straight down, you know, that's what they use. Like, well, it went down, you never had it, and it just hit your glove and fell down, you didn't catch it.
Well, here's Jock Peterson, who's been on base all 3 times tonight by way of walk. He has walked 62 times this year. Dodgers trail 5-1. Alberto Callaspo will bat for Alex Guerrero. He's on deck. Guerrero hitless in 3 at-bats tonight and struck out all 3 times. Peterson takes inside. 2-0. Such a terrific outing turned in by Alex Wood. Goes for naught. The Dodgers trail by 4.
Yeah, you touched on it, Charlie. You look at the line. If you pick up the paper tomorrow, you're like, oh, 6 1/3, giving up 4 earned runs. He pitched so much better than that.
2 walks, 1 of them intentional. And both of them would come around to score on the grand slam by Franco. First rookie grand slam for the Phillies in 10 years. 3-1 to Peterson. Five runs, 9 hits for the Phillies, a run, 9 hits for the Dodgers. 3-2. Got the sense that Peterson was just kind of hoping for ball 4 on that pitch.
I mean, this pitch is one of those borderline. It was a good pitcher's pitch. Even if you're going, all right, 3-1, you're looking to swing the bat. That's a tough one to square up.
And on 3-1, it's a good idea to take it then. 3-2 is a different count, of course. Peterson takes call, strike 3. He's going the wrong way.
He made a good pitch on that 3-1, and he's like, I'm going to go back and try to catch that corner again. And Gomez does. I mean, the one before, like we talked about, you're like, all right, you know he's calling that. Now 3-2, it's a whole different thing. 3-1, you're in a hitter's count. Yeah, lay off that pitch because it's not a hitter's pitch. But 3-2, it's a different ball game where you're going short and up, 2 strikes, I got to protect.
Now with 2 out, Callaspo. You can afford the luxury of taking a 3-1 pitch. No such luxury exists on 3-2. Trying to foul it off and prolong the at-bat. Callaspo at 242. 2 balls and no strikes. So Guerrero was hitless in 3 at-bats tonight. Thus he's being pinch hit for by Callaspo, who would have come into the game as a defensive replacement anyway. 3-0. And Carl Crawford in the on-deck zone. 3-1. By the way, congratulations, I think, to Mike Hessman out of Modern Day High School. He's 37 now, and he hit his 433rd career home run, minor league home run. He is the real-life Crash Davis. 3-2. 2 out. Top of the 8th. Puig will be off and running. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Lined off the glove of Hernandez. And going to third is Puig. He timed it as well as he could. He was about an inch too short.
Callaspo gets this off the end of the bat, so it's kind of that soft liner that Hernandez is trying to judge. And Yasiel going all the way to third.
So now 2 out. And Crawford coming up to pinch hit. Dodgers tonight 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And Crawford, of course, with the injuries, has had a quiet season. Bob McClure coming out with a long, slow walk. The Phillies have one left-hander in their bullpen, but he's not warming up at the moment. Ken Giles, hard-throwing right-hander, is. And there he is. Ocasio and Avilan are warming up for the Dodgers. And there they are. Phillies, of course, were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position until Franco's grand slam in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Puig is at third, and Callaspo is at first. If Crawford keeps the inning alive, guess who'd be the tying run at the plate? Jimmy Rollins. The baseball gods have a dramatic sentiment about them. Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? Crawford takes outside. It's been a long season for Carl Crawford. One ball, one strike. Crawford in 14 games in his career against the Phillies, 309. Missed 75 games this year with that oblique. 2-1. The Grandal single, Callaspo single. First and third, 2 out, top of the 8th. Into left field, slicing, and it's a fair ball. It's going to roll to the corner. Puig comes in to score. Callaspo will be held at third. Runners are at second and third with 2 out. It's a 5-2 game, and Jimmy Rollins is coming up. So a pinch hit for Carl Crawford.
Crawford does a good job on this pitch, staying on it. That one might have been off the plate. Started off as a strike, but breaking, tailing off the plate, and he stays on it, going the other way rather than pulling off of that ball.
And Pete McCannon is going to come out, make a double switch. Jordan Danks coming into the game. And it looks like he'll be replacing Francoeur. There goes Frenchie. And the Phillies' new pitcher Giles is on his way in. So Jimmy Rollins is coming up when we come back, and he's the tying run at the plate with 2 out, 2 on, top of the 8th. Phillies 5-2. This is a night that's belonged to Jimmy Rollins, and it's worthy of our Arco top-tier play. Standing ovation when he was introduced in his first at-bat. Made a terrific play defensively, and he had a couple of hits along the way as well. Ground rule double and a single. And now he is the tying run at the plate with 2 out and 2 on, 5-2, top of the 8th. And the hard-throwing right-hander Ken Giles is on in relief. This is his 48th appearance, a record of 5-2 and a 1.77 ERA.
He has 2 pitches. He has that slider right there. Averages near 90 miles an hour. And then he has a fastball that he throws hard and throws it harder. And then sometimes he throws it really hard. So he averages about 97 miles per hour on his fastball. Can get it up to 100.
1 ball and 1 strike. Giles has given up 1 home run this year, 2 in his career, to both Yasmanis, Tomas and Grandal. But he's facing Jimmy. Rollins 2 for 4. Lifted his average to 220. Takes a strike. 1 and 2, 3 sliders in a row.
Maybe he doesn't know he throws 97 miles an hour.
Or maybe Rollins does.
No, actually it's good. Yeah, you're right. You're expecting that hard stuff, and he's giving you something else to think about.
Like that one at 99. 2 and 2. Howie Kendrick on deck. Iaspo at third base. There's Kendrick. Crawford is at second. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs to Jimmy Rollins. Off to the left and out of play. The Phillies' all-time hit leader with 2,306.
Throwing those sliders, it's big league hitters can time 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You're throwing those sliders and then throwing it for a strike. Now you're going, okay, well, do I have to be ready for that wall? I'm supposed to be geared up for 99.
2 and 2, 2 out. Outfield is deep for Rollins. Now it's 3 and 2. If Rollins gets on, Kendrick would be the lead run at the plate. 8th time tonight the Dodgers have worked a full count. The 3-2. Do it again. Rollins 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Again the 3-2. Ball, strike 3, and that will end the inning. Dodgers come up with a run. 3 hits, leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 5-2 Philadelphia. Play is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Flex Alert. This summer, the power is in your hands. Go to flexalert.org. Jimmy Rollins takes a call third strike with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th. The Dodgers trail 5-2. And Luis Abilon is making his Dodger debut. 37 2/3 innings, 31 strikeouts. And so he joins J.P. Howes, the pair of southpaws in the Dodger bullpen. Darren Ruff is leading it off for the Phillies in the bottom half of the 8th inning. That one is well hit to right center. But it is Puig cutting in front of Peterson. First out of the 8th. Freddie Galvis coming up, and he's 1 for 3. Wind is blowing, as you can see, from left to right. Giants now lead the Braves 8-3 in the top half of the 9th inning. Dodgers began the night 3 in front of San Francisco. And this is the 106th game of the season for the Dodgers. Back here tomorrow, first pitch. A little past 4 o'clock Pacific time. Brett Anderson and Aaron Harang Thursday, a matinee, 1:05 here, 10:05 Pacific time. Zach Greinke and David Buchanan. Then it's on to Pittsburgh. There's Aaron Murray. Two balls and no strikes to Galvis. Galvis, that front left foot begins outside the batter's box. Right on the edge. Avalon walks it.
Yeah, a lot of time, Charlie, sometimes they had it closed before and they take that stride. Sometimes hitters go, well, I'm closing myself off. I'm striding too much toward almost second base, first base side to close that front shoulder. So in order to tell themselves not to do it, they often overcompensate from the start. So they have it really open up the hips. And then when they go to close on their stride, it's not quite as closed off.
Ruiz single to right to begin the 4-run uprising in the 7th inning. With a grounder to the right side. Howie Kendrick made a diving stab, tipped off his glove. And that was the beginning of the 4-run outburst for the Phillies. They lead 5-2. There's a strike. 1-1. Dominic Brown on deck. One and two. Dodgers still seem shell-shocked by that grand slam by Franco. And that was in the 7th.
Well, you and I, Charlie, were talking about the momentum over the course of this game and the certain moments where the Dodgers really had a chance. We talked about taking the win out of the opposing team's sail and having the momentum on your side. And when they had opportunities, they couldn't capitalize in the 3rd and 4th inning with guys in scoring position with nobody out. That really started putting the momentum back in the Phillies. And they were just allowing the Phillies to kind of creep into this game. And then that grand slam really put the momentum back in the Phillies' favor.
So the turning point, of course, they'll look back at the grand slam by Franco. The Dodgers 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 3rd, bases loaded, nobody out in the 4th, and came up with nothing. Gonzalez with plenty of room.
And you know, Charlie, we mentioned it early, is, you know, that inning with the grand slam, that who started off that inning was Carlos Ruiz with that leadoff single. We're like, oh, that guy always seems to come up big late in the innings, and sure enough, that's the inning that they explode for 4.
2 walks, a balk, and a grand slam. Not your garden variety balk either. Ball slipped out of Alex Wood's hand. There were runners at 1st and 2nd on a 2-2 pitch. And the ball slipped out of Wood's hand like a slippery bar of soap. And it went about halfway between first and home and stayed in fair territory. Ruiz was at second base, and he came racing around from second. And at the moment, everybody was frozen. What's going on here? The rule was, and is, that on a balk, ball is dead. Had the ball ended up in foul territory, the ball then would have been in play. Ruiz goes, and the throw goes into center field. So Galvin will stay put.
We've seen a couple of these throws by Yasmani where they tail away into center field. Talked about those ones sailing on Yasmani, and they're occasionally when he jumps out of his crouch to throw where he really goes far to his left, and when he comes here he doesn't go straight to second. He ends up going almost toward the third base side, which creates that angle that the ball sails on him.
0-1 to Dominic Brown, who swings and misses.
We're talking about watch Yasmani as we get a better angle. Watch him kind of go into the right-hander's batter's box there to clear the batter. Now you're kind of throwing at that angle as compared to just kind of catching and going straight through.
Grandal looking like a quarterback. Oh, 0-2. 4 years ago this month, Baseball America declared the top 2 prospects in baseball. Number 2, Mike Trout, and Dominic Brown, number 1. Well, everybody knows how Trout turned out. Brown still hoping to make his mark. 1-2. Into left field for a base hit. Galvis rounding third. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Throw to second. Not going to be one. 6-2 Phillies. Brown delivers a single into left field, and Galvis comes in to score.
Well, they played the shift. There was no shift straight up. Jimmy Rollins, at least whether he had a play or not, would at least get to that ball and keep the run from scoring. And Ethier, very rare do you see Ethier miss the cutoff man.
So the Phillies lead it 6-2, and Hernandez coming up. So Avalon's debut with the Dodgers not so hot. Wood was very good. Latos on Sunday was very good. But this Phillies team has won 12 of its last 15. Another night of double-digit hits for the Phillies. 5 consecutive games with at least 10 hits. And 9 of their last 11. It's gone final in Miami. The Mets have beaten the Marlins 5-1. D-backs and Nationals tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th in Washington. There's Hernandez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the Giants lead 8-3. Atlanta last licks in the bottom of the 9th. Ball and 2 strikes. Bell Herrera will bat next. Dodgers in the 9th have Kendrick, Gonzalez, and Ethier coming up. A ball, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Call strike 3. That's going to do it. But the 1-out walk to Galvis. Stolen base. RBI single for Dominic Brown. Last licks for the Dodgers coming up. Would strike out Jimmy Rollins with second and third, 2 out in the 8th. And now he's on to shut it down against the Dodgers in the 9th. We've got Kendrick, Gonzalez, and Ethier coming up. So this Philly team coming into the game won 12 of their last 15. How? Before the All-Star break, they were hitting .246. Since the All-Star break, .290. 6 runs and 10 hits tonight. Howie Kendrick, 0 for 4, got on a force out back in the 5th and will come around to score one of the 2 Dodger runs tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giles has some giddy up. .96 and fouled off to the right. Ken Giles, a 7th round pick of the Phillies back in 2011. Made 44 appearances last year with a 1.18 ERA. And at the moment his ERA is 1.76. 57 strikeouts in 46 innings. .97. Now it's full. One into the bottom of the 7th when Michael Franco hit a grand slam off Johnny Peralta, who was called in with the bases loaded, took over for Alex Wood. And the three and 2. A leadoff walk to Kendrick. I may have said Johnny Peralta, Joel Peralta. Either way, it was a grand slam, and
it was off of Peralta.
Yeah. Dodgers have 3 outs left. Adrian Gonzalez, 2 for 3 and a walk tonight. Now Chooch is going to out and talk to the the young right-hander. Ethier on deck, and then Grandal. Gonzalez at the moment at 296. 96, 1-1. Brett Anderson and Aaron Harang tomorrow. First pitch a little past 4 Pacific time. 2-1. At the moment, the Philly bullpen is quiet. Ethier, who is 1 for 4, is on deck. That ain't fair.
Not when you have 98 in your back pocket. Yeah. 99.
And they come back with an 88 slider in on the fists. Two balls, 2 strikes to Adrian Gonzalez. Outfield deep and straight away. Now it's 3-2. This is the 10th full count the Dodgers have created tonight. On 3-2, time is called. Three and 2 to Adrian Gonzalez, who strikes out. Second strikeout for Giles. It's the first out of the 9th.
Just comes with this power right down the middle of the plate, heart of the plate, and ends up just beating Gonzalez with that fastball.
First out of the 9th, and Ethier stepping in. Andre singled in a run in the 5th. He's also flied out and bounced out twice, once into a double play, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Dodgers swept the Phillies back at Dodger Stadium last month. Dodgers down to their final 2 outs tonight in the first of this 3-game series at Citizens Bank Park. Grandal on deck, and then Puig, if it gets that far. 1-2. Grandal 2 for 4 tonight. And Ethier, of course, had those dramatic home runs on Sunday. But no more dramatic than the grand slam by Michael Franco. A grand slam in the 7th inning. And the Phillies lead by 4. Off the glove of Howard into right. Franco, or rather Kendrick, holds at second base. Howard had visions of a double play dancing in his head.
Yep, that ball was hit so hard it was definitely a double play ball, but it just gets right by him. And you see his reaction where he's like, how did that get by me?
Now Bob McClure is going to go out and try to settle everybody down. The entire infield is on the hill. That's Luis Garcia.
Didn't you say last inning that Giles has only given up 2 home runs in his career? And both those home runs were to a gentleman named Yasmani.
1 Tomas and 1 Grandal. Grandal 2 for 4 tonight. Takes under the knees. 1 ball, no strikes. If he gets on, tying run at the plate will be in the person of Yasiel Puig. So the Dodgers still have a pulse. There's a strike. 1-1. Giles has struck out 2 and walked 1. Kendrick at second. Ethier at first. Drilled to right. Well hit. And Brown will track it down in front of the scoreboard. Got it on the button.
He did. He was just unlucky there. Didn't get any loft to that ball because that ball looked like he had enough to hit it out. He thought, well, maybe, especially in a hitter-friendly ballpark, but just drives him to the wall. Hard line drive, well hit.
And you may have noticed in the upper right-hand portion of your screen, the Giants have beaten Atlanta 8-3. Dodgers now down to their final out. Puig 1 for 4 and a run scored. Takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. Puig at 249, 7 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Fouls it off to the right. If Danks got any deeper and left, he'd be selling popcorn. Outside. 2-1 to Puig. Danks, Herrera, and Brown in the outfield. They're deep. The 2-1 to Puig. 98 comes up empty. Dodgers are down to their final strike. And Giles is a strike away from his 3rd save of the season. That's your star of the game, Maikel Franco. Giles with the save. The Phillies hang on to beat the Dodgers 6-2. For the Phillies, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. The Dodgers, 2 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. You're looking at the Lexus play and player of the game. Maikel Franco with a grand slam, a hanger from Joel Peralta in the 7th inning. That's the difference as he swats out his 12th home run of the year. That is a wrap for us from Philadelphia. For Kelly Tennant, Omar Garcia Power, Charlie Steiner saying good night and goodbye from Philly. Coming up next, Access Sportsnet LA. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.